morning. It's Friday. It's freezing, and we're here to build some cool stuff for Alexa. So I've had no prep time this morning. I was running around this morning like crazy. Had to get the trash out. It's trash day today, and with the wind that we've got, it's just going crazy outside. So on top of being able to stay in our house, now the weather makes me want to. But as you guys may have been following, I have been getting out and doing basically a 5K every day. And today will be day 16 in a row, I think. And it's been a fun adventure, but I am still going out at some point today. I've got my Alexa sweats on. We're ready to go. And it is good news that I know what day it is. My kids reminded me that it's Friday because technically they have the day off of school today. Now I don't know how much that matters when all of time just blends together and you have no idea where you are, but here we are. We're continuing on through this adventure in seeing nobody, and I think it's starting to weigh on me. Like, I really like people. I like spending time with people. I don't think anyone would question for a moment that I'm an extrovert, and so like, even my wife is like, "Why are you always on your phone?" And it's because I'm having conversations with people. I've been talking with Karthik a little bit about some cool stuff we're gonna do next week. But I have friends all over the country that I've been talking with and checking in with, and it's a weird time, guys. It's I don't even know which way my hair goes anymore, right? Like, goodness. Um, yeah, it's just a weird time, and this beard is starting to get serious. It definitely makes me look older. I don't know if that's good or not. I just talked to my sister this morning, and she said that it's weird to see me look old, and so I don't think that was a compliment. But we're sticking with it. Not shave until I can see other people. So the plan today, for those of you that tuned in on Wednesday, um, we were building a Alexa scavenger hunt, but there's a lot of plumbing and rigging that I really need that doesn't exist. I don't have a way to just go get that stuff. So I'm building it. And the stuff that we've built so far is the ability to extract all of our content out to the cloud. So I have it all saved in an Airtable database. We also need a way to communicate with our users so that they have an effective way to receive clues. We've gone through the challenges of trying to figure out how to use cards and how to use screens on Echo devices, but we have to think voice first. That always has to be my number one priority. And because of that, I find that I need to do better than what I can currently pull off. I think that for screens, it's okay. But one of the challenges, even with screens, is that this is a puzzle. It's meant to be challenging. It's meant to require you to think a little bit and put some pieces together. And I don't think that you can do that in the time that's required on the screen of an Echo device, even. It's going to go away. And so unless I want to play like a silent soundtrack or something to keep that stuff around, it feels like I'm better off having you interact with the skill. And in some cases, the puzzle will be what you hear. But for those times when I need to send you an image or something, I need to send it to you. And so what we started building on Wednesday was a way for me to ask you for your mobile phone number. And then once I have your mobile phone number, I need to verify that it's actually yours, so you're not just spamming people with my skill. And so in that case, you'll be sent a text message that has a PIN, and that's kind of where we left off on Wednesday, was the ability to capture the user's phone number, save that to the database, and then send that phone number a text message with a 4-digit PIN. What we haven't built yet is the ability to capture that PIN and validate it against the one that we've saved. And then once we've done that, send the user their first puzzle, right? So they're ready to go. So that's kind of our next step, I think. That's the thing that we're gonna do here. And I'm gonna sit down. My back, for some reason, has just been killing me. So let's get my machine ready, because I haven't done any prep work like I would normally do to get my machine open and ready. Yeah, you know what? I saw you post something like that, Karthik. Your wife only keeps you around because she likes how you look without a beard. I think it's awesome, man. My wife does not like the beard at all. And so I think because of the beard, she may be looking at ways to get rid of me. I don't actually believe that. I think she likes me either way, but she does not enjoy the beard at all. So we'll just live with it for a while. Okay, so I'm jumping over to everything here. I've gotten a little smaller. My code has gotten a little bigger. I'll zoom in a little bit on that for all of you, just so it's easier to read. And beards are makeup for men. That's pretty funny. Man, I can't tell you enough. As I have a teenage daughter, and obviously my wife here too. And between the two of them, I didn't realize how much time really is required by women to put makeup on. And it's for them. If they want to do that, that's great. But it's a lot, right? It's a lot of time. It's a lot of products. And it's funny. There's been some videos going around online where women show the men in their lives some of the things that they use on a daily basis that men can't even identify, like an eyelash curler. I only know that because I live with some women. But a lot of men, if you showed them that device, they would have no idea what that thing is. And there's a number of other apparatus that they use for making themselves look nicer that just I don't know what that thing is, right? It's crazy. So Ryan says grow the beard. I'm gonna keep growing it. We're gonna keep doing it. I don't know how. Like I haven't trimmed it at all, so it's a little fluffier on the edges sometimes because the hairs don't all grow at the same length speed. But we'll keep it going. I've got the green light to run it through this pandemic at least, and then we'll cut it into funny shapes or something. Okay, so enough about me and my beard, but I do love a good beard conversation. The thing that I really want to do is get in here, and we have our phone number intent handler yesterday. This is where we captured what the user said their phone number was, and I still have some work to do here. One of the things that I am not doing effectively is I have this fixed phone number locale, or fixed phone number method. And all I'm doing in here is checking the length of it. I'm really being very US-centric about this. I'm assuming that there is probably an effective way to do this that someone's already written. So if any of you know how to do this, I mean, I'll build it if I can find all the rules. But the trick that I'm really having right now is I don't know international phone numbers well enough. I'll have to go look up the patterns for them. But if I have a 10-digit phone number given to me, what other information do I have available to me to assume what their prefix is? Because at least in the United States, if I ask people for their full even if I say international phone number, I don't know that everyone's going to say +1. And so I don't think I can rely on my users to get this effectively right. And if there is a way to do this, if there is a way to capture their phone number, it would be great to be able to localize this and say, oh, well, you're giving me this locale. So that might mean that you live in this locale, which means this kind of phone number. Because I would imagine the United States is not the only place that has 10-digit phone numbers, but I do know that phone numbers vary in length across the world. Karthik, how long are, not including the international prefixes, how long are the phone numbers in India? And I will answer your question while you get back to me on that. Karthik, the answer to why not use the customer profile API, there's a couple of reasons. One, it requires permission. So I'm forcing the user to go to the Alexa cards or to the website to do that. But on top of that, there's no guarantee that the person speaking is the person that owns the account. And I know a lot of people have not turned on their voice ID stuff so that it actually knows who's speaking. But even in that case, if my kids were to play this game, they would want the text messages to come to them. And this using the customer profile API prevents that. So I want the active player, the person that is actively engaged in the game, I want them to be the one that receives the text messages. And I don't think that the customer profile API actually solves that problem for me. Because if my kids were playing a game like this and I wasn't, I'd be bombarded by text messages. And the kids wouldn't have a way to set it to be their number instead. Now, I say kids, but I'm even talking about like when my kids are 22, right? If they still live in the house, going to college or whatever, they're not necessarily children. I'm not targeting this at children per se. I need to be able to have the user configure what their actual phone number is that they want to use for this game. And what will be nice about this is that they can also change it. So if I say, hey, I've sent you the puzzle, and they're like, no, you didn't, and I can say, I'm sending them to this number, because I can tell them what number I'm sending it to. Then I could build some functionality to say, like, oh, do you want to change your number? In fact, let's add that as a to-do. Okay, so another to-do, allow users to change their number, phone number. So again, just the list continues to grow on what we need to do with this. But the thing that's working right now is US phone numbers. And in doing that, then I say, I send you a pin. What is that pin? W. Giorgio, you're saying that I could use a regular expression. Maybe, but the Karthik proves a perfect example. Indian phone numbers, the country of India, are also 10 digits. So if I get a 10-digit number, how do I know what prefix to put on the beginning? Now maybe the folks in India always know to prefix it with +91, but I'm guessing that's also not true. Good morning, Jomo. Thank you for being here. That is something that I really am not sold on, that I think most people won't give me that information. I could use their time zone. That's interesting, but time zones span countries, so I don't know that that would necessarily get me what I want. And yeah, they don't use the prefix at all. You know that because you work with people internationally. And then I could ask them their country. I think most people know their prefix. I just don't think they would ever think to say it. If I were to say, what is your international prefix? Then they might tell me what it is. Maybe that's the play. Maybe that's the thing that I should do, is ask them. But I still feel like it's going to get messy and gross and broken. If I could just ask them for their phone number. I don't know. I think I have to be US-centric for right now, and then I will solve that problem when I come to it. And my US-centric solution should solve this. So Jomo has an interesting thing here. Let's see if I can get my computer set up properly. I don't actually have. Yeah. I actually wonder if they would know +1. I mean, you had to know it a lot when like long distance calling was a thing. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get myself in a whole lot of trouble trying to go down that rat hole rather than trying to figure this out the right way. So I'm not going to solve it for now. As you guys saw, I have a function called fix phone number where I get their phone number. I could expand that to include their locale at least, and see if that doesn't get me something. And if you say that you're English India, I'm going to assume that you have a +91, right? And if you say that you're English Canada, I'm going to use, I think they still get +1 also for Canada. But for other places, maybe I'll just base it on countries. And I actually have this information, so it wouldn't be that hard to go to if I come here. This is, I was on it, I guess. This is my Airtable. And if I go to my speech data for this scavenger hunt, I have locales. These are all the locales that are available currently. And then I have them broken down by language and country. So what I could do is grab out of this table, I'll just add another column. Maybe this is how I'll do it. I'll base it on your locale. This isn't going to be perfect because there are devices in the United States that are probably set to Spanish Mexico. There's going to be edge cases that just this falls down on. Phone prefix is a thing, and then for English US, I can do +1, and we'll kind of grow it from there. So I think this will be the way that I look that stuff up, is I will base it on your locale. I'm assuming that the international prefix for the whole country is the same, and so for each of these individual countries, so we know India is +91, and then we know that this would also be +91. This would be +1. So I'll just base it on the country of their locale, and that's a little safer. I don't want to spend the time to do that now, but at least I have a strategy. So I'm going to go into my fixed phone number function. And, well, you know what? We'll do this first. So we'll get their phone number. We're going to pass in, I have locale as data already. So I'm just going to take their fixed phone number and I'm going to add the locale to that function call. I'm not going to do any of the work right now, but I'm going to, in here, I'll catch it. And then I'll say fix phone numbers that aren't for based on the locale of the user's device. Okay, so that solves my problem for now. Thank you, Ryan, for the information on validating North America. I think in general we're going to be okay. Is my background music ominous today? I hope not. It was meant to just be kind of chill, but if it's ominous, I can kill it too. All right, so let's go back up and do the thing that I want to do, which is pin validation. So we built a thing on Wednesday that allows us to catch it. So I am catching the value that the user spoke, and I can say that the user indicated their pin is this. But what I really need to do is validate it against the actual pin that they have, and I think I have that in session attributes. So let's validate that first. So we're going to come here, and let's start with a quit, just because I don't know what state I left this in. So we'll say open scavenger hunt. I don't need the audio, so we'll mute that. Okay, so I've just come in, I've done all I need to do, and I don't have any session variables, session attributes yet, but I do have them somewhere. I do have these session attributes, right? This is for my user, and I already see that I have a validation pin and a mobile number. So what I should have done first is deleted my data, because I want to walk through that process one more time. Just, well, I'll show you how we set this pin here in just a second. This is not their pin, this is my pin, Joe. This is a validation pin, so it's kind of like two-factor auth is basically what I'm building. But it's, you gave me a phone number, I need to validate that that's your phone number, so I'm going to text you a pin, a randomly generated pin, and then you have to tell me what that pin was. Otherwise, I don't consider it your phone number, right? Does that make sense? That's what I'm actually doing with this pin. So I've erased my data, and so in here, what we're going to do is, no, not here. We're going to go to this and test this. Take care, Ryan. Thanks for coming by, man. So I'm going to try this again. We'll quit our skill, and then we will open the scavenger hunt. All right, so now in my session attributes, you can see I just have my user ID and my record ID from my database. That's perfect. The next thing that I want to do is give it a phone number. So it says, you know, hey, I don't have your phone number. This game requires it, because we'll send some of our puzzles and clues as images. What is your full mobile phone number? I'm going to say this. And at this point now I have in my session variables somewhere. Where is my session data? Right here. These are my attributes, right? So I have the user ID and the record ID that I passed in. And then I said, I have a message with a 4-digit PIN to validate your mobile phone number. What is that PIN? So I'm asking the user what their PIN is. Trey Tomlin, thank you for the follow, man. It's awesome. We are well on our way to 250. We need 75 more people to be able to have me wear a Bob Ross wig for a full 2-hour session where I'm going to do some skill building. Maybe I'll build a Bob Ross skill of some kind or something like that. But we're 75 away. So tell your friends. Just have them come, give it a follow if they want to watch and join us. That's awesome. But I want to. We gotta try and get to 250 somehow. Our next goal is going to be more aggressive, and obviously I'll have to be more ridiculous about what I do. But 250 is a first milestone. I want to see if we can get there. So thank you again for that. All right, so I have said my phone number, and so the session attributes that I have stored are still just my user ID and my record ID. But the ones that will be stored next time should be my phone number. So I'm going to say the PIN that it gave me which I don't know here. I have to go look in the database. And that is 2110. So I will say 2110. And at this point in my session attributes, you can see that this is what's coming back to me. I will be able to access this stuff in my code, I think. Pretty sure. But I have now their full phone number, and I have that validation pin. So what I need to do is be able to validate against that, right? Pardon my caffeination. By the way, Red Bull, if you're looking to sponsor someone, I'm your guy. So this is a good position that I'm in. I have their validation pin. And now I just need to check and see if I have it. So actually the thing that I really wanted to do, I need to go into CloudWatch and let's go to AWS. We'll go into CloudWatch. I want to look at my log and see what I actually received and what my session values actually look like. So let me go ahead and do this. Signing in, CloudWatch. Log groups. And then we want scavenger. Okay, and we'll look at our most recent log, which was just a couple of minutes ago. So that was my launch request, and then okay, so what I want to see is in here. I don't have their pin yet. But my user record here, that is when so I just got their thing. I must have just gotten it. So I'm not saving that to my session, and I feel like that's a thing I need to do. Trade less. No, I did not. The SNS stuff did not work until I changed it. If you guys remember, there's two kinds of SNS messages you can send. There's promotional and there's transactional. I don't remember. Let's go look at that. AWS. We'll just do another tab, I guess. But so when I changed it from promotional to, I feel like it was transactional, but I don't think that's right. Maybe just transaction. So text messaging. You can see that, yeah, transactional. You can see that these transactional ones are going out without fail. And working very well. In fact, I got a validation pin on this test that I was just doing. So it's all working. These promotional ones, though, I think that these are sent in a way that kind of like spam would be. So maybe there's whitelisting or blacklisting that's happening from my mobile provider. I think there could be a number of reasons why these are failing, but what I haven't been able to figure out is where I see how they're failing. But the transactional ones are working great, and that's because these are prioritized different. And those are the ones that I've set to be my specific set of text messages. So by default, somewhere in here it says that, my default message type is transactional. And then that's this should be where things are being logged, but that's not happening yet. So I'll dig into that more. I haven't had a chance. I had a bunch of crazy stuff happen yesterday. In fact, there's something that I'll want to use in some of my future skills, or past skills even. I did the Alexa release roundup yesterday. If you guys go to the Amazon Alexa channel, I did a show yesterday for almost an hour.
On September 25th, 2019.
Alexa, stop. Called a release roundup, and the whole point was for me to go through all of the new features that
On
Alexa...
September 25th, 2019, Amazon announced several
Alexa,
new Echo devices.
Stop.
On September 25th,
Alexa,
2019.
Quit. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, so I went through a whole list of all the new features, and there were a few that were very interesting, especially related to slot generation, where you can create external catalogs and basically tell Alexa to look at a specific HTTPS endpoint for your slot data, and so when it needs it, it goes there to get it. That would be huge for my Star Wars skill and a number of other things, because right now I have to manually update those slot values, which I don't want to do. So that's something another interesting thing that I need to look into. But we were looking at my CloudWatch logs, and in here, this is the one that I want to see. When they say what their pin is, do I have that in my session? And I don't. Why don't I? Yes, I did. No, this is the slot. So why don't I have that in the session? I should already know it. Shouldn't I? I should. When do I tell them my phone number? Let's see. This would be easier if I start over. Let's go back to this. Let's do a new one just to get a clean set of data that I can make work here. So open scavenger hunt. It should say, hey, I don't have your mobile phone number. And it does. Then I say my mobile phone number. Now at this point, I've generated a PIN. And it's in the user's record, 5995. So when I ask them for the PIN, I'm going to go back in. Well, Karthik, that's a good question. Why do I want to keep it in session? Because what ends up happening is every time the user talks to the skill, I have to make a call out to the database and get their user record so that I know who they are. And so I always persist it to session so it's reliable and I know it's going to be there. So that's why I'm checking to see if it's in the session. But it feels like if I say 5995, I don't know if it's going to like that. Yeah. Okay, this is the thing that I was expecting to see, is that I would have this in my session attributes at this point so that I can easily check against the input the user just gave me without having to make another database call. And really that's what I'm trying to get at, Karthik, is I'm trying to limit the number of times that I have to call the database because I already have this information. I'm already making a call to get the user record, so it should be in the user record, which is good. So we can use user.validation pin as the thing that we check against. That was a long way to get there, but we did it. So var pin is that. Now I need to say not even at launch request. I literally do it every time. So in my request log, which is my request interceptor, in my request log, I go out and I get my user record every time. TradeLast, the question, this little tool that I'm using right here, this is from Jovotech. And in here somewhere, the plugin. The one that I'm using is, no, it's not plugins. It's components? I don't remember. Fetch a user's phone numbers via voice. Maybe I should use more of their stuff. There was is it under products? Chrome extension. This is what I'm looking for. So I'll post a link in the chat for you guys on this. But this is the thing that the Alexa Skills Kit Simulator Enhancer. So that is that's what I'm using, TradeLast. It sounds like that's what you're using too. So you get the circle arrow thing. If we go back and look at this, You get the circle arrow and the plus. If I hit the plus, that's what adds them up here. I don't know why it's adding them in duplicate, but that's what that tool does. So that's what the plus sign gives you. But Karthik has just posted that. I think I'm posting the same thing. It ends in, yeah, same. So that's the tool that I use. It just makes things a little bit easier. I don't even use it all the time, but I find that it's nice when I'm doing that kind of stuff to be able to, oh, you've just never pushed the plush. There you go. This is a thing that I've given a talk on, the idea that the concept of pushing the button. I find that for my parents who are almost 70, in their early 70s, they are very hesitant to push whatever the button is in front of them. If I present them with a button in an app or in anything, they're always like, well, what does it do? They want to know before they push what's going to happen. And then if you show a 5-year-old that same button, they'll be like, and just push it as quickly as they can and be like, oh, look, it lights that thing up. The Disney store in Chicago on Michigan Avenue used to have buttons all over the store, and when you push them, little animated things would happen around the store, like characters would move, and there was one where like a whole set would catch on fire, not real fire, but it was like little fabric fire flames blowing with a fan. But it looked like things were on fire. And so I find that there are a lot of people, it tends to skew in age, but it's not universal to age, that are just hesitant to push a button. Now, it sounds it sounds like in your case it was just icon blindness, which is another thing. I've also talked about the concept of, I didn't make up this term, but a clutter blindness. My wife thinks that I'm very clutter blind. I will step right over something that needs to be put away, even though she put it there specifically for the purpose of me putting it away. Sometimes I'm not in that mindset where I'm walking around thinking, oh, I wonder what I can pick up. I'm on the mission to go do the thing that I need to do. And so that's a miss sometimes for me, and something that I'm working on daily. All right, so we have our validation pin in our code. Jomo is clutterblind too. That's good to hear. So I think it also skews male, but I would imagine there are women also that have that issue. Okay. I started typing, and I wanted to do if session attributes, and I was going to comment on something someone else said. We do not want to see the apartment off camera. That's fair. Have you guys seen that I set this up? Speaking of messes. Boom. Oh, no. Hold on. We can fix that. I just rebooted this machine, and you have to reopen the Logitech software for some reason to get that camera to work. So an empty camera frame is no good, but we can do this live on the fly. I'm also the producer, the editor, the director of this show, so now we can do this. Boom. This is where I'm sitting. You can see I'm sitting on a stool right now, but this is my office, and if you look lower than like my shoulders, there's stuff. Like I got stuff on the desk all over there, and there's like a lightsaber and a bunch of stuff on that table that you can't actually see in the normal camera angle. But I think this is kind of a fun way to give you a view into what's happening here. As I rock back and forth, you can see I'm sitting on a stool, so this is why I may seem like I'm moving further and closer to the camera sometimes. But anyway, so that's that. But let's get back to actually writing some code. But yeah, there's no shortage of mess. Ice Cream calls out the ping pong balls. Yeah, I need to do some more videos with those. I did invest a solid $18 in 200 plus ping pong balls, so I feel like I'm going to need to do some more things with them. If you haven't seen the video, go to my Twitter and scroll back a little bit, or if you have access to my Instagram, stuff like that. It's all over the place, but it was fun to put together. So user.validationPin, and I feel like this is not going to come through as an integer, so I'm probably just going to say, let's just do a toString on this, just so that we're being consistent. And then this is going to be pin.toString. So this is if the validation pin matches. Joe, I do not play ping pong. Well, I mean, I'm capable of playing a game of ping pong. I would not say that I'm any good, and I probably haven't held a paddle in 10 years. But like with another casual player, I can make the ball go back and forth pretty consistently. But no, I don't play ping pong. We bought them for the purposes of making ridiculous TikTok videos and things for Instagram and Twitter. Do I play ping pong? That seems like a question I should also add to the Jeff Blankenburg skill. Thank you for calling that out, Trade Last. By the way, on our internal reports, we get to see skills that are trending, like that are starting to grow or have some new attention that are in the new category. And one of my teammates, I don't think it was Joe, I think it might have been Anna, shared with me that my Jeff Blankenburg skill actually showed up. I think it's because you guys keep changing the light. But I'm getting just enough traffic to make it look like my skill is legitimate and popular. I can't thank you guys enough for that because it's kind of fun. So it's nice to have built something that's on the radar. All right, I am so slow to write some code today. So let's do that. That is my perfect scenario, right, where everything works as I want it to. So we're going to hack it the other way, and I'm going to make it not equal. And in here, this is one of those things where what I really want to do is do what I did in the launch request again. And I have a lot of weird conditions here. So I wonder, Joe, do you know, Lord of Sound, you may also know. I know we've talked about this. Karthik, that would be so awesome, Developer Awards. Do you guys know that we are actually blacklisted from the Alexa Developer Awards? They've marked our accounts and we are not eligible even if we do build something awesome, which is totally reasonable. I'm not fighting that fact at all. But it does suck some of my enthusiasm and momentum and energy out of having a popular skill because I know I won't make any money just from Developer Awards. But it makes total sense why I don't. I don't want to be a person that's taking money from a developer out there that's built something awesome. But man, it would be kind of cool to get some money for building a cool skill. Yeah, any Amazon employee. But honestly, they didn't know about me for a while because I am totally drinking Red Bull, Lord of Sound. There it is. Cheers. It's the best breakfast I've ever had. But if they don't know that you use your personal email address for it, a lot of times they won't be able to find it. In fact, I was given developer awards once, and then they said, "Oh, we just found out that you're an Alexa employee. We can't do that. So you can keep this one, but we can't give you any more." One of the skills I built featured in a TV commercial that skyrocketed like anything. Wow, that's awesome. Getting it on TV, that's incredible. But yeah, this is my focus juice. It works really, really well, and I find that when I need to stay in the zone and not get too tired, it's a good beverage for those purposes. Okay, so the thing that I was asking Joe and Lord of Sound, because I think I've talked to both of you about this at some point, but if anybody else knows too, that's great. I think there's a way in the SDK to issue a command that punts things to another handler. And what I would really like to do is delete, like, in my session variables right now, I will have their mobile number and I will have their validation pin. And I have all these really nice conditions written to generate speech that I should say, and maybe I should just, I've already convinced myself I need to extract this. But I think there is a method in the SDK that allows me to say, okay, well now go do the launch request handler thing instead. But I don't recall function holder.handle. What does that do for me? I'll have to go look at that. But what I really should do how do I want to do this? Like, just invoke it based on the object holding the handle. Okay. So you're thinking that I could do something, because this would be easiest for me, is that I could say, so my handler is called launch request handler, so I would say, if it doesn't equal, I could say launch request handler dot handle handler input. like that. That seems like what you're recommending, and I think that might work perfectly. I guess I'd never really considered it that way, but that is absolutely how it should work. And so the other thing that I need to do then is, so this is if they don't match. I don't know why it wouldn't work. At that point, they're all equivalent, and I'm calling the handle itself. We'll find out here in a second. But I need to get my session attributes cleared out. So I need session attributes dot user dot, what is it called? Phone number? Session attributes dot, oh, I guess I know if I look at my table, because that's where it comes from. It is mobile number. All right, so number equals undefined. I want to set these to nothing, and I want to set session attributes dot user dot validation pin equal to undefined. And then I probably need to update the record too. Oh. So I need to update the record, and I can do that. This is a update right here. So I think I could take this. And this is now making me want to extract this code into a function that's just update user record. Well, what's the rule? When you write it the first time, I agree with you, Jomo. I think that that's probably where I'm going to end up, but I'm just trying to build the paths for now. The rule is the first time you write it. So, Joe, I agree with you to a point. I feel like the first time you write it, obviously, just write it how you write it. The second time you write it, you observe that you have made a copy. And it's on the third time that you refactor. That's the rule that, like, in the world of unit testing, that's the rules that I've generally seen. I think that copy paste is bad because I'm giving myself two versions of the thing that could break. But I think we're gonna do it. We've got time for this. So what am I gonna need in here? If I take, this is gonna be tricky because if I make a user update function, yeah, I'm with you, Joe, on that. Remembering this stuff is challenging. So let's do this. Before I get too ahead of myself, this should work. Because when I come up here to the launch request, I'm relying on session attributes, and I have nullified those values. I still do need, and I should leave myself a note about that, we need to update user data record in Airtable to remove values. Okay. So at least I remember that I need to do that. But I have a place now where I'm invalidating those two values, and then in my launch request, I want to just see if this works. This is where I'm checking those values, and if they're undefined, then it'll do the thing that I expect it to do. So let's just try this. I don't need that. I need this. In the meantime, I can have some delicious Red Bull. Yeah, Lord of Sound, you make a good point. Sometimes having parallel duplicate paths can be a blessing, because otherwise you're refactoring stuff all the time because you need to use it in different ways. I can see that for sure. All right, code is pushed. Let's go here and see what happens. So I'm going to quit. And we're going to go to open scavenger hunt. And it's not going to work the way I want it to because I didn't delete my record. Okay, let's start over. Quit. Open scavenger hunt. Cool, you don't have my phone number. So now we're going to do 614-327-5066. We're going to add that. I don't know why it's adding it twice. I've sent a message with a 4-digit PIN to validate your phone number. What is that PIN? Well, the PIN is actually 6412, but I don't want to say that. So I'm going to say like 9999. Well, that didn't seem to work, huh? So down here, user indicated their PIN is PIN. So we got to there. We got to the bottom of this. Karthik, here's something that a lot of people don't realize. We talk a lot about the 6 or 7 second window that Alexa gives you to speak, but if you're speaking, that window can be as long as you can keep speaking. You can talk for 15, 20, 30 seconds. She gets less and less tolerant of the space you put between letters. I've used it. It works fine. We can try it here. Let me delete my record. And we'll try it with voice just to make sure it works. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I noticed that we don't have your mobile number. This game requires it, because we will send you some of the puzzles as images. What is your full mobile phone number?
614-327-5066.
I have sent a message with a 4-digit PIN to validate your mobile phone number. What is that PIN?
2652.
User indicated their PIN is 2652.
Okay, so that works pretty well. And I mean, there is a phone number built-in slot type, so that should work. But what I wanted to see was I need to see if I'm in this loop, in this if statement first, so... PIN didn't match. E. Dalvard, thank you for being here. Welcome to the show. It's always nice to see some new names. I don't think I've seen your name before, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. But it's good to have you here. Thank you for coming. If you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind giving me a follow, we're trying to get to 250 people by the end of the month. And I've made a promise to wear a Bob Ross wig for an entire episode while we build something interesting. So if you're willing to do that, please do. In the meantime, I've console logged a pin didn't match, and I'm going to push my code one more time and see if we actually get into that if statement. Because it does feel like this should work. Trade last, I do the same thing. So if we look at my model, I do have things like my phone number is, my number is. I'm going to add my mobile and this one, my mobile is that, and I do the same thing for pin, right? It is, my pin is. I definitely overload those because you want to make sure you're covering those cases. You don't want it to go wonky on you. Okay, so we've got our model there. Our code has been pushed. We want to try here again. So quit. Clear my record. I really need to get a command to do this automatically because I forget it often enough. Yeah, overtrain's probably the wrong word. Okay. then my phone number, and then we want to... Oh, John Kennedy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Lurking in the background. I don't think I've seen you speak, but it's good to have you here. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to have all of these people watching my code for me. It's awesome. Okay, so I don't know what the pin is, but we're gonna say it's 6314. Now, there's a 1 in 10,000 shot that I got that number right. Does anyone want to place a wager on whether or not I got that correct? I guessed 6314. It's a random number between 1,000 and 9,999. And my guess was 1364. What did I say? 6314? Are you kidding me? That's amazing. I at least matched all 4 numbers, which is still... I need to buy a lottery ticket today. 6314 versus 1364. Man. Yeah, it's lottery ticket day. What? Oh, I didn't send it yet. User indicated their pin is 6314. So apparently... Why wouldn't that work? Well, let's see if the log actually shows me getting into that function. I guess that's the real question. Get here. Look at this. Pin didn't match. That's interesting. Intent request handler. Am I doing something wrong in my logging? I am. Launch request handler.handle. I don't know why that wouldn't work. It's not listed as a different thing, right? It's kept in the same collection as everything else. I don't know why that one would be different. I could understand if it's in a different set or whatever. And I'm calling the handle directly, so it doesn't even matter if there's a can handle. No, I'm not doing any delegate chaining. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, returning it might... That might be the thing. All right, let's just do that again with a return in there and see what we get. Can I just say how awesome it is that I get to spend at minimum 6 hours a week coding with you guys? I know you're not always watching and you're sometimes working and you're doing other stuff, but to have this kind of feedback and conversation every day, this is super awesome. Okay, so let's try that again. Go back here. We'll quit. We'll clear our records out. It's a lot of setup. Okay, open scavenger hunt. Cool, you got it. Here's my phone number. Should we do it again? What is the chance that I could do this twice? What is my pin? I'm feeling a 7. 0. 4. 6. 7046. Is there any possibility that I got this even close to right? Let's see. 7046. 8086. I got the 0 right. I got the 6 right. I'm not doing bad. My odds are still way higher than they should be. The 8086 I would not have gotten. I probably wouldn't have repeated a digit. So 8086 was the correct number. Trade last, very close guess. Okay, and then I want to say what my pin was, so I'm going to hit enter. Ah! That worked! Returning it sends it to the launch request and just does the launch request stuff instead. That is glorious. Okay, so W. Giorgio, I know we had talked about this before, but I think it's the return. I think that's... you are amazing. Thank you for your support on that. My lawn is about to get mowed. It's 44 degrees outside, but we're going to have some background noise here for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So heads up on that. Okay, so that's super cool. So we now have a mechanism for passing things between handlers. That's not something I've done a lot. The return, what this does is says, hey, I want to, whatever I get, I want to return. The same way that I'm returning this thing down here. The difference is that now I never get here. So by returning this, I'm returning the results of whatever I get out of the launch handler handle, which happens to be the response here. Or I guess not that one, but the response right here from my launch request. So I'm circumventing this and being able to return the value from the other handler, which is already set to do this stuff. So I don't know that I'm going to live with this as my, I gotta stand up, is my solution ultimately, but it works for now. The thing that I need to do now is take this update, and Jomo has convinced me that I need to extract this. So I'm going to take this chunk, and this is going to be a very dynamic function. We're going to have to come down here and do I don't need any of those anymore, but we'll keep them. I need to do a async function update user record. And I'm going to need mobile. I don't know that it's been corrected. I don't know that anything has actually changed. I think that we're writing it the proper way now. Because the launch request and the others shouldn't be different, because what I'm not doing is trying to pass I'm not passing a new intent request in. All I'm doing is returning the results of the handle function from launch request. So at that point, I'm taking out all the screening. So you know how each one of these functions has a can handle? By calling the handle function directly, I'm skipping past this entirely. So all it cares about is looking in this function and doing what is necessary. Now, if I had things in here that were dependent on it being a launch request, like I was looking back into the handler input and only doing things if it was a specific kind of intent request or launch request or something like that, then this would fail and it would break for sure. But I'm not looking or using any of that kind of stuff, so I think I'm okay, which is pretty cool. So, excuse me, we have this function that I just created down here called update user profile, or whatever I called it. Update user record. I don't know what my parameters are going to be yet because they're going to be weird. Yeah, I will commit this code, and actually let's do that right now. Just because I haven't committed any of this. This is all just living locally on my machine. So let's take a moment and do that. And I'll get this up on GitHub right now so that if you guys want to grab it, you can. So in my scavenger hunt function skill, looks like I've already gotten rid of the GitHub stuff. So that's good. So now I can just create a new repository. I don't even know that that's true, Lord of Sound. I think that I could chain these as far as I wanted to go. If I got into the launch request handler and I decided that I needed something from another one, I would say return from that one also, and it would just chain all the way back up. I would expect that it would work. So let's come in here and let's create a new repository, because I don't think I have this one in here at all. And we're going to say scavenger hunt. And we'll do a readme, but I'll probably never fill it in. Okay, so I've created the repository. And then I can publish it. A scavenger hunt game for Alexa. Pushing everything up there, and then I'll drop a link for you guys so you can grab the code as it stands right now. Obviously it will change, but now if we go to, actually I can do it right from there. View on GitHub. And I should actually open Twitch. I don't need to hear myself. Pop out some chat. And maximize that. And now I will actually see the stuff that you guys are typing and can respond. So that is the link to the GitHub that I just created. So if you guys want to grab that or whatever, start, fork it, do whatever you want to do. It's obviously not done. I don't even know that it works right now, but you can at least have that code available to you. That can go away, that can go away. And we're back to doing what we were doing, which was updating our user record. So in order to do this, we're going to need session attributes, which is in handler input. Thank you, Lord of Sound. I like them. I'm not sold on the Alexa scavenger hunt, but I wanted it to look like kind of like a whiteboard. So the name is there, and then it looks like I kind of sketched in what I'm working on. Oh, you know what? I probably made it private, guys. I'm sorry. Let me fix that. I can fix that. Yeah, it automatically makes them private. Going into the danger zone. Right. Does anyone actually type it? Or do you just copy the thing they want you to put in there? Okay, now it's public. Try that link again, guys. Sorry, I missed it. I set it as private. All right, back here. I need session attributes. I'm going to need the phone number and PIN because I need to know what to update. So I'm going to have to create an object first. So we'll call this var fields. And this is just going to be an object. And so I don't know what I'm going to put in here. But you guys are all set to grab that. That's good. So I have this object fields. And then I'm going to have a bunch of if statements. So I'm going to have phone number. I'm going to have PIN. I don't know what else I'll have, but this is going to continue to grow. So for now, I don't really want to do that every time. So we'll say if phone number doesn't equal undefined. Sorry, I get distracted by the comments sometimes. Lord of Sound, you're using WebStorm, huh? That's cool. I came from Microsoft, so I really like Visual Studio. It has a lot of keystrokes and commands that I prefer. Um, but everybody likes their own stuff. Then I want to do fields dot mobile number. I don't know why I can't be consistent in my naming. Phone number. If pin doesn't equal undefined fields dot validation pin equals pin. And one of the other things that I'm going to do in here is I'm going to make all of these. No, I still have a machine I can't use anymore because I couldn't get out of Vim. It's still just running. Let's see. I really don't love where I'm headed with this, but it'll work for now. So I have fields.phone number and fields.validation pin, which means now I can take this object right here and just call this fields. And then this needs to return the record. No. Return. So now I'm going to say update user record, and I'm going to pass in those values, and it's going to call Airtable, and it's going to update things, but I don't have... Oh, this will make it easier, actually. Handler input is coming every time. And then I can say phone number by default equals undefined. Pin by default equals undefined. Okay. So I can resolve my record, I return that, so when I call update user record, I will get this. So now where I'm doing this, I should be able to say var record equals update user record handler input phone number pin, and this will need to be await. Await update user record, and that gives me everything that I want, I think. Why do I care about the record? Like I was saving it as a variable for some reason, but I don't actually know why I was doing that. The other thing that I should do while I'm in there that will actually be really nice. I'm going to get rid of this because these are just updates. And the thing that I would want it back for is to update my session variables. So why don't I just do that in the function? Go to definition. Instead of returning this, we'll set this back to var record equals. And then down here, I can say how do I refer to session variables? Session attributes. Where did it go? There you are. So up here, there's my session attributes. I needed that anyway. And then down here, I can say session attributes dot user equals user dot fields. Is that what I do in my here? Session attributes user equals user record.fields. Yeah, so I'm doing the same thing. That's good. So this will mean that every time I update the record, I'm automatically updating my session variables also, which is exactly what I would want to have happen. And then, except it's not user, this is going to be record.fields. And then I need to return. No, I don't need to return anything. Okay, never mind. I think we can just do that. I'm sure I broke something, so we're going to go give this a run again. But I think by doing that, that'll allow me to easily just call a method that says, hey, go update the user's record. And this is just the user record stuff, right? I'm going to have a bunch of other inserts and adds and stuff like that for when they do a puzzle and when they have things happen. But that doesn't happen on the main user record. That'll happen other places. So this is a core thing that I'll have to do over and over, though, as they change their phone number or update their name or anything else that I may want to make part of the core user record. Okay, code is updated. Let's come over here and test all this nonsense and see how it works. Goodbye. All right. Open scavenger hunt. Ask me for my phone number. Oh, this is empty. What happened? All right. Ask me for my phone number. That's perfect. Here is my phone number. Did it work? Oh my gosh, guys, it worked. I know we were supposed to guess the PIN together, but it worked. I've sent a message with a 4-digit PIN. That is the thing that happens right here, right? If we come back up here to phone number intent, I have sent a message with a 4-digit PIN, which means that my line here, update user record, is working on the first try. What? That's not how I write code. We need to have 6 or 7 stupid errors that I make over and over and over. That's how this is supposed to go. That's what you guys tune in for, is dumb errors. Okay, so update user record is working, which means now I can take that, and when I do the PIN, when the PIN matches, I need a new record. I need a new thing, which is validated. We'll call this checkbox. So now I have an is validated checkbox that I'm having a lucky day. This is much better than last Friday. For those of you that tuned in last Friday, it was not good. Like we failed on almost everything that we tried to do, and it just didn't work the way that we were hoping it would. Guys, if I buy a lottery ticket and I win $200 million, I think that those of you that are regulars here, I think you've earned yourself a couple $100,000 easily. You guys inspire me daily to keep doing this stuff, so I think you've earned it. So else, update user record, and this time I think I can do this. We need to modify my function, which is update user record, which is down here somewhere, and I can say is validated. My default value for that is false. But I think, and this is getting into some like lesser known JavaScript stuff, but I think we can do this where I say handler input and then I just say is validated equals true. I think I can do that. So that I can only pass the conditional variables that I need, the conditional elements that I need in that function. And the other ones will be undefined, which is actually not what I want. So I can just, let's do this the right way. Since this is the full call, I have those values here, I think. Because I didn't invalidate these, I can just take them and send them in. That's if I send them empty, then they'll be nullified, and that does me no good. But this also opens a new condition for me that I'll have to check, which is they have been validated. Because I feel like I don't really want to hold on to the pin. Maybe I do. No one's ever going to know the pin. I was thinking, like, what if somebody guessed your pin, your validation pin? But if you give me a new phone number, I'll give you a new pin. No, that's probably fine. Okay, so I'll leave the validation pin and I'll set it to true, updating my user record if they get it correct. And then what do I do if they say the pin? Then I want to send them to, like, the puzzle intent that I haven't built yet. Like this thing here, this should really punt the user to the puzzle intent. This shouldn't happen in the launch request. So we're going to have to build a puzzle intent, which I'm not going to do right now, but we'll leave it to do for ourselves, because that'll be one of our big next steps is actually building the puzzle infrastructure. Send the user to the puzzle intent to get them started. All right, so they've been validated. This is the other thing that I need to do here is I need to update my user record, and this is much easier now that I have this function, which I cannot thank Jomo Code enough for encouraging me to do. I'm just going to pass in handler input and literally nothing else, because that will invalidate everything. So let's see how that works. And then we haven't actually finished this function, but this stuff isn't actually going to happen. So we can get rid of this, because we're not going to say anything at the pin. We're either going to kick them to the launch request, or we're going to kick them to the puzzle handler, which hasn't been built yet. So I don't have to return anything there. Makes me want to build the puzzle handler just so I can respond. Let's leave it there for a second. This is going to be user validated their pin. Just so that I know what happens and I can have that console log. I don't really need that. Okay, so I think we're good. We can now test whether or not they got the pin right and what actually happens. So let's give that a roll. One of these days, I really need to set up the local debugging here on my machine. I haven't gotten myself to do it because it requires changes that then don't let me push it production, don't let me push it live. And I like having it working because I find when I'm walking around the house that I'll just test my skills from time to time, and if the code's not there, then that annoys me. All right, so code is pushed. Let's quit and start over. Let's get rid of some data. Okay, open scavenger hunt. There was a problem with the... Oh, good, we got some errors. Finally, I was like, are we going to debug it all today? Okay. Syntax error. Await is only valid in an async function. This is the thing I always get nailed on. Where did I do that? Well, every handle should be async for me. I'm sure that was the one. That's async, that's async. Those are the only ones I'm using. Okay. I like when they're easy to fix. It's not something crazy. So let's try that again. Okay, and we're good. So go back, change the data. Oh, it didn't actually work, so that's even better. Quit the skill. Open the skill. Cool. Here's my phone number. That works. Before we look at it, let's take another guess at our pin. I like niner this time. 9, 4, 4, 2. Anyone else want to give it a guess before I flip over? I'll give you a few seconds. I know we're on a slight delay. 9442 is my guess for a pin this time. And someone just changed my lamp green. Ice Cream says 4736. One-handed holding a baby and a bottle. Trade last 2349. Any other entries? 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is 3183. We did not have a winner. Oh my gosh, it would be amazing if somebody actually guessed this. So, okay, so I'm going to guess the incorrect one and see what I get. Ooh, I think that's the alarm. Okay, so if that's the alarm, let's come back in here to Scavenger Hunt and look at a new log. I don't like that I have to refresh this page every time. Arterbury, thank you for joining, and thank you for the follow. Please, if you don't mind, join us in the chat room. It's always fun to hear what people have to say. You know what? I really hate this new view. It's too hard to read. So I'm gonna go back to the old. Like they just changed the design or give you a new look at the design. I don't like it as much. This is easier to read. Okay. Pin didn't match. What is the error that I got? Cannot read property mobile number of undefined. On line 26? Really? Okay. Why would that be undefined? So let's go back and look at the... Why don't I have any session variables in there? Which one actually gave me the error? There's my request envelope. Getting user record, found user record. That's interesting that I don't have any of my session data. Feels like I should. But this is all before we even get there. So my user record here, I have mobile number. That would be slammed into my session variables right away. All right, let's go take a look. Let's do console.log session attributes. And for this, we're just going to do json.stringify session attributes .user. I don't know why that wouldn't exist. Literally every time we come into the skill, we do this, which is get user record. And I get session attributes.user equals user record.field, which is the thing that I get back. certainly feels like. And so user record is right here. I can see exactly what I'm getting. So if we look at those logs, I see a user record right here, and it's user record user dot mobile number. That's what it should be. So I wonder if there's something that's happening when I kick into the launch request. I wonder if I'm losing something in that call. Let's see. So I have my random welcome message. I have my action query. We're going to do a session. Actually, let's go back. Instead of just user, let's do, in my launch request, let's do a session attributes. Let's get rid of the user part. And see what we get. Because the first time that we hit it, it should be full. And then it's going to ask me for my mobile phone number. And I'm going to give it my number. And then it's going to say, hey, you need a PIN. And I'm going to give it my PIN. And if the PIN's wrong, it's going to kick it back to the launch request. At which point, it should definitely have that data. This feels like a thing that should be there. It's weird that it's not. Okay, so we go in here. And we quit. And we delete some data. And now we say open scavenger hunt. And I tell it my phone number. And then I guess the pin is 1111. The odds of that are incredibly low. 8936. So I get it wrong. And then I'm getting an error. So let's look at that clean set of logs with the new comments to see if that solves our problem. There's my launch request. Here's my session attributes, and it has user ID and record ID, which makes sense. Then I have my phone number intent handler. And this is where it tells me what my PIN is. Then I have my PIN validation intent. The PIN didn't match, and the session attributes are empty. That's very interesting. I think I know why. No, I don't know why. But so I need to figure out why my session attributes are empty. And it seems like when I'm calling over to the... I know why. I know why. Okay, so if we come back to my code, I'm betting here. Let's take a look at this, because I have because I have the handler input. Although it is weird. Like this request envelope. Do you see how I have my attributes here? I seem to be losing those when I come to my... Let's close this. When I make my PIN call, PIN validation intent, the session variables aren't in here anymore. That's the weird thing to me. It feels like they should, because I haven't made the jump. I haven't pushed over to that other intent yet. They're just already gone. Why would that be? Well, I kind of am. I can log it at the beginning of the launch request, so at least I can see it here. But it's happening here. Like, this is when I just tell it the PIN. This is before anything else has happened. So the phone number intent handler happens. It says, hey, your PIN. This is the text message that got sent, but it says, I have sent you a message with a 4-digit number to validate your mobile phone number. What is that PIN? And then the very next response is after they tell me the PIN. This is before I've gotten to the launch request or anything, and my session values are missing. So let's take a peek at what's happening in the PIN. If I come to my PIN validation handler, maybe it's this, which I don't need to do anymore. Maybe that's the issue. I'll bet that was the issue. There has to be something that I'm doing that is destroying that, but it seems like I would still have the record ID, I would still have the user ID. Yeah, I was setting those to undefined, but I just got rid of it. So I think maybe that was my issue. We'll see. This feels like a weird behavior, and weird behaviors are usually my fault. Okay, delete my record. Open scavenger hunt. Here's my phone number. The PIN this time is it starts with a 0. No, it can't start with a 0. 7 1 9 9. And the actual guess is 5615. I was not close. Okay, so we pass this in. Still don't have any session data. Oh no, no, that's just the user. Is that it? Yeah, that's no, because normally it's under attributes, right? If I come back and I look at this one, and we go back to 1132 is the one I just did. So the first time that I come in, this is my request envelope. I don't have any session stuff, but the user ID is there. Then this one, I have attributes, and I have user ID and record ID, which is exactly what I'd want. I'm doing something wrong in how I update the record. That's got to be it. So this is the phone number intent handler. This is where I'm going to, somewhere in here, I'm updating the record. I probably should log some of that stuff. So it's got to be in my update function. How I am... So let's see what I'm getting here. Console.log updated record JSON.stringify record. Okay, we're going to do that, but we're also just going to make sure that we're actually getting that back from the database. So we're going to do it here too. This will be records 0. And we should also log our fields here. Yeah, the session attributes are definitely here because I'm updating the record. So the update part is definitely working. What I'm concerned about is my retrieval of that and my storage back into the session variables that seems to be the issue. The session attributes is working though because that's what I'm using to look up the record and update it. So I'm certain that that's where it's going. The set session attributes is the last thing down here. So it's just a matter of figuring out why that's not working. But now we have so many logs, this should give me a clear indication of what's going wrong. And those are famous last words. These will not be a clear indication, and I will not actually be able to solve it at this point. But we'll see. We have 24 minutes to solve this problem. Okay. So start here, delete the records, come back here, quit. Open scavenger hunt. I don't think you need to do the set session attributes. I think that's inferred by just doing it. I don't think that I have to do that. I've never done that before. I know it exists, but I don't think I have to do that. There's my phone number. Here's my PIN 1111. Still get an error, but now we should be able to go see what's happening. 1136 sounds good. Okay, first one, launch request handler. We come in here to, this is where they give me the phone number, and I have my user ID and my record ID, which is what I would expect. So then, this request envelope still doesn't have that stuff. And that might, well, no, and dot fields. Yeah. Dot fields should give me what I want. So fields here is empty. And the updated record coming back is empty. So it's definitely something about my update. Let's take a look. Did fields happen anywhere else? Like when I updated their phone number? Yeah, fields here works just fine, but the updated record that I'm getting back isn't right. Okay, so we have my fields here. So this is when they give me the phone number. This is where I update my record, and I am creating the fields object, and that is built as designed. And then I have updated record and updated record. I wonder if this is a... Could this be an async problem? Because I deleted this and rewrote it, and I don't know that I got it right. What if... Can you do this? That might be the piece that I'm missing. Because then I'd be forging forward and I'd be filling this in before I've actually gotten my response back. Let's see. I don't know if I had that in there before or not. So annoying. Asynchronous JavaScript is painful. Delete. Quit. Open scavenger hunt. Here's my phone number. 1111. And that worked. What an amazing find we just had by adding a weight to that. And look at this. My session attributes are there, as I would expect them to be. Also, it's giving me the first puzzle. Now I need to check my logic in that launch request. So I now have a much easier way to check this, which is I don't need to... I'm checking to see if I don't have your phone number, then I need your phone number. Then if I do have your phone number, I think that's the condition that I needed to change. If this is validated, it doesn't equal false. But is validated isn't being passed now, so it can never be false. Equals true. So this says I could never hit that condition. If this doesn't equal undefined, why would I have done that? So if your mobile number is undefined and your validation pin is undefined, I don't have your phone number. If your mobile number isn't undefined, but I don't have your validation pin, I don't know how that could ever happen. What was the actual pin? Did we validate that for you guys? 2770. That had to be a peek in, right? You didn't actually get that right? That would be amazing. So if I don't have your phone number, it doesn't matter if I have a validation pin. I don't even need to check that. So if your phone number is undefined, then I need to get your phone number. If I have your phone number and your validation pin is undefined, there's like no chance that could happen. But if I have your phone number and is validated, is undefined, then, or I guess I can, well, I can't do that. It has to be undefined. My choices for those Boolean values are really true or undefined, because if it's false, it doesn't pass me the value. So is validated equals undefined, then I need to confirm your pin that I've already sent you. I'm going to need things like give the user the option to send another pin. I guess I could actually just do that there, right? Where do I send their pin? Whoa, let's not do that. Getting out of hand. In here, I could say sent to you. But I don't want to resend them a pin every time, so it can't happen there. They would have to ask me for another pin. So that's okay. So we'll leave that. So if they're not validated, but I do have their phone number, then I'm asking them for their pin, and they should look on their phone and find it. They can say I don't have the pin or something like that, and we'll have to worry about that. Give the user option to send another pin if they don't have it. Okay, so that's good. And then if they are validated, then I don't. But I do need to make sure that their phone number is defined. I don't know how it would go away, but I should at least make sure that condition is met, which is this one. Okay, so now if I have their phone number and they're validated, we're good to go. And this is ultimately going to be push them to the puzzle intent that doesn't exist yet. Okay. So now we have our conditions for my launch request. Down here I have pin didn't match, and this is where I send them to the launch request to get the thing that they need to do, and then send them to the puzzle if they got it right. The thing that I just noticed was that I said 1111, and it thought I was correct. So we're testing my new validation logic in the launch request. Okay. So this goes away, and in here I can quit. And then I can say open scavenger hunt. And then I can give them a phone number. And then I realize you guys can now... oh, you can't see it. I can see it. 9618. Well, but I don't want to do that. I want to do it wrong. 7. So this is if I get it wrong. If I get the pin wrong, this is what happens. I've sent you a 4-digit number, but I didn't actually send another text message. I'm just telling you that I sent you a text, and I'm asking you for what that pin is if you come back to the skill an hour later or whatever, right? So that works well. Then I can say 9618. User validated their pin. Okay, I think we've got our logic loops handled for now. I don't actually know. What happens if I say my phone number again? Oh, I must have quit the skill. So let's open the skill. It should send me right to the puzzle. Oh, because I'm not updating it with the true, am I? Am I? I thought I was. So the pin is this one. Setting the validation to true, so I should have a true checkbox, but I don't. Interesting. Why is validated not? Oh, because I didn't update my function. So I have is validated, but I never use it. So that's going to go here. If is validated. Can't update it if you never tell it to do it. Is validated. This will be is validated. Okay. I think we can do that without even starting over. I should be able to just say my phone number. There's a lot of logic in here. Like, what if they say the same phone number? Do I need to go run them through the process again? I need to invalidate their validation. There's a lot to this. Okay. So this time I'm just going to say the phone number. Or I can just say my validation pin, which is 9618. 9618. User has been validated. Perfect. Is validated gets a check mark. So that's working. And then if I come back to the skill and I say quit, and I say open scavenger hunt, come back later, it should be like, here's your puzzle. Boom. Okay, so the core functionality is working. Now what happens if I give it my phone number again? I've got your phone number, but I've sent a new pin. So if they give me a phone number, phone number intent handler, I think I can just do that. I've got your phone number. Now I'm passing in the stuff. I've created a pin, but I need to set your validation back to false so that you don't come across as validated anymore, because I don't want to send a new message to the wrong number. So let's try that. And then this means that anytime somebody wants to change their number, they can just say their phone number. I don't have to build like a whole separate intent, but I will build some extra utterances to handle that. Although, what if they say change my phone number? What do I do then? I guess I could just set their validation to false, delete their records automatically. Yeah, I'll probably need a, but I have that right. Send another pin, allow users to change their phone number. So the changing of the phone number works as long as they just say their number, but I need the case that they say change my phone number, like they're trying to get into a menu. Like change my phone number. Okay, so we'll have to work on that too. We're getting a good list of work items out of all this. But the pin validation stuff all works. Update user data record to remove these values. That's what I just did there. That's gone. I haven't built the puzzle intent yet, so I'll leave that to do. Is there any other to-dos that I've written in line that I might want to work on? Post them the puzzle intent. I don't need this. Oh, maybe I do. That'll be my send text message for your first puzzle. I'll just leave that for now. That's fine. We're just looking for green to see if there's anything else I can get rid of. This will eventually go away. Fix phone numbers. Yeah, that's something we need to do. Hello world intent. I don't even need you anymore. Do I have you listed? I do. Ice cream, I don't think I care. Because if you can validate the phone number, then if you want to have multiple accounts, or let's say your kid is playing and you have voice ID set up and they want to use the same phone that you have, like that's fine. I don't think that I really care if the same phone number's in there twice, because I'm identifying you by user ID, so they would actually have to have a different user ID, but that shouldn't prevent them from using the same phone. So I don't know that I care. I probably should care, but I don't think I care. That's something I need to worry about later. I also need to focus on things like how do I recognize that they want to stop? Like, you know how you get promotional messages from vendors and you can say stop or quit or something like that, and they will stop sending you text messages? How do I let people unsubscribe? I guess I'm going to have them use the skill. Or maybe I can just include that in the bottom. Just tell the skill, erase my phone number or something. Let's add that to our list of stuff. Give the user a way to unsubscribe and turn their phone number off. Now, the one case to this that would be tricky is if you could somehow get a hold of someone's phone, validate the PIN, and then they would get text messages all the time, and you wouldn't have a way, they wouldn't have a way to stop it because they're not the ones actually using the skill. They may not even know the skill exists. But these are weird edge cases. Track last login after so many days, auto remove. Maybe, but it doesn't hurt to have their number. And if they come back, they're going to be pissed that their stuff is lost. Yeah, that's stuff to think about. Okay, well we are pretty much right at time, but we're back to a working state. So one of the things that I'll do for you is come back to GitHub, finished pin validation path, and we'll push that up so you guys have this latest version sitting there. If you want to get that. And for those of you that tuned in maybe after I did this, this repository is available on GitHub. So you can grab this URL. I'll add it one more time in case you didn't see it earlier. But that is the link to see all of the code that I've written so far, including my interaction model and everything. The only thing you don't get there is the schema of my data, but that's okay. It should be pretty clear what I'm trying to do with that. So again, this is the best Friday we've had. This is a fantastic conversation. You guys are so engaging and really, really helpful. So I'm glad that you guys enjoy this and keep showing up. And we'll keep doing it, at least through the rest of the pandemic. I gotta imagine I'm gonna be on here 3 days a week. I'm thinking about also being able to toss in some afternoons, maybe Tuesday, Thursday afternoon or something. I don't know. I don't want to overdo this, but like I'm writing code. Why not do it in public? That's kind of how I feel. It takes me longer because I have to explain things and I get distracted by your funny comments and conversations, which is good. I liked all of that. So I probably could get this code written faster if I did it by myself, but then nobody really knows what's going on and they haven't seen it. And my hope is once I get this thing built and launched that you guys will use it. So you'll know exactly how to break it too, which would be great. All right, so with that, I'm going to get myself some lunch. And I'll be checking back in on Monday at 10 a.m. like I do every week. So thank you guys all for tuning in. See you soon.